You know, for a guy who runs fast, Sonic sure loves to drive cars a lot, and this red dude likes it too. Mario has had so many Mario Kart games. Can't blame him though when we keep buying them. We're looking at who's got the worst racing games between these two. But I've decided to go with the tier list. These are just so much easier to make. So I guess I'm kind of looking at best and worst here. Now, a couple of rules. I'm looking at games where the primary gameplay is racing. I'm not including Trike Harder from Super Mario Party, and I'm certainly not including the racing portion of Sonic's Game World. I'm not that crazy. I'm also not including any small LCD games. Sorry, Sonic Speedway from McDonald's. Sonic is a bit more variety than Mario, considering all of Mario's games are Mario Kart. I'm gonna go in chronological order here, which brings me straight into Super Mario Kart. Unless you're playing Super Mario Kart for the nostalgia, or to go play every Mario Kart game, there's really no reason to play this one. It's not great, and I can't stand how much of the screen is taken up by the map. There's also something called rubber banding that happens here. It's where if you're too far behind, the computer player slows down for you. Likewise, if you're too far ahead, the computer players will speed up to ungodly levels to catch up to you. Each character that isn't you has their own specific item they have to use. Like Donkey Kong Jr. has a banana peel, Mario uses superstars, you know, it's that kind of thing. The controls aren't great either. Again, you should only be picking this one over other Mario Karts for nostalgia or for the sake of saying you've played it before. I'm placing this guy in high D tier. I almost went for a low C tier, but that just felt a tad bit too high. C tier should be the average, you know? It's not a bad game per se, but it's definitely below average. The next game we've got up is Sonic Drift, which released 2 years later. Sonic Drift was talked about on my channel a couple years ago, but nobody watched this video. I can't blame you, it's not a very good video. But to sum it up, it's a super basic kart racer on the Game Gear. It only has 4 players, and half the screen is taken up by a map again, which is even worse now when the screen is this small. Each character has their own power-up, which you can only use when you get enough rings. And then there's track power-ups. These are always weird jumps or dashes. The game is really basic, and also kinda hard if you don't know how to use items or how to drift, which the game makes zero effort to make apparent. I sat there trying to figure out how to use items for a while, man. Some bullshit right here. Once you figured everything out, which doesn't take too long, you can win pretty consistently, but it's still pretty boring. The items are worse than Super Mario Kart, but the controls are a bit better. I'd say they're both pretty equal in high D tier. Next up is Sonic Drift 2, also for the Game Gear. Sonic Drift 2 takes just about everything from the first game and makes it better. Better items, more characters, better maps. All of the characters from before have their old abilities, but now we've got Knuckles, Metal Sonic, and Knack. There's also a bit of a boss at the end. If you play as any of the good characters, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, or Amy, you go against Eggman in one last race. But if you play against any of the bad characters, that being Eggman, Metal, or Knack, you play against Sonic. It's still not the greatest racing game in the world, but it is leagues ahead of Sonic Drift. Besides everything I just mentioned, it is kinda just Sonic Drift 1 Plus. If it came out these days, this would have just been DLC. So I'm giving this guy our first C tier, just above the other two. Next up is Mario Kart 64, which released in '96. This guy is kind of the gold standard of kart racing games, in some ways. This game introduced plenty of things that became staples of Mario Kart years down the line. Blue shells and 4-player action. It was the first game to have 4 players in one game. The whole big thing here is playing with your friends, and they gave us items to fuck around with too. Blue shell lets you mess up players in first place, but you can only really get it when you're in last place. And most of the time it only helps the person in second place, but it's a rite of passage to get hit with one of these when you're in first place. Super Mushroom, Triple Mushroom, and Triple Shells were all introduced here too. It was also the first game in 3D. Sometimes it looks a little janky because it isn't fully in 3D, but it's still pretty cool. Now, I've been singing this song's praises for a minute here, but it is still a weird title. The game's controls are still a little weird, especially when you consider the controller it was on. Map layouts weren't the best either, but at least the game doesn't take up half the screen with a map. Now, I'm not saying the map layouts were bad. They were the best in the series at this point, if you ask me, but we got a lot better later on. And I'm not looking at these like, was this game the best at the time? I'm literally ranking these games against each other here. Mario Kart 64 still gets a B rank. It's pretty good. It'll likely be a low B though. Next up is Sonic R. It's the last Sonic racing game for the next 9 years, so we won't be talking about Sonic for a while. That is, besides Tails levels in Sonic Adventure, or the racing 2-player mode in Sonic Heroes, or even the kart racing levels in Sonic Adventure 2. Again, I'm not counting any of this, but the kart racing in Sonic Adventure 2 is the closest alternative. Sonic R came out in '97 for the Sega Saturn. I've only ever played it on the Sonic Gems collection for the GameCube, but tomato tomato. It's the first Sonic racing game on foot. You start off with Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Eggman, Eggman and Amy, the last two being the only playable characters not on foot. These are all the playable characters, with Supersonic being elite shit. There's only 5 maps, no power-ups, and half the playable characters are either awful or too good. The last map, Radiant Emerald, is definitely trying to rip off Rainbow Road. You can beat the entire game in one playthrough if you know what you're looking for, but you definitely don't feel like you've accomplished too much by the end of it. It isn't an awful game, not by any stretch, but it isn't a good game either. The bots are all too easy, there's not too much randomness because of a lack of items, and the roster of playable characters gets old, especially considering Amy, Eggman, and Egg Robo are all god-awful. At least the soundtrack is killer, though my ex-roommate said every song in the game sounds like it's from one of those old workout dance videos. I'm putting this guy in high C tier, right below Mario Kart 64, but above both Sonic Drifts and Super Mario Kart. Mario Kart Super Circuit is up next from 2001. This was the first handheld Mario Kart, and they did a banging job with it. The game looks great considering it's a Game Boy Advance game. It looks way better than Super Mario Kart. Not to mention, all of the tracks in Super Mario Kart are in Super Circuit. And we keep many of the items from 64 in this one. Super Circuit was an awesome game to play on the go, with the most amount of tracks we've ever seen at this point. And even by today's standards, it's a pretty good amount. It has even more tracks than Mario Kart Wii, almost as many as 8, and about half as many as 8 Deluxe. Having that on the go was fucking awesome. But in terms of controls, it's pretty bad. You're slippery, and you're too fast to boot. Not a great combination for a Mario Kart game. For the time it came out, it was awesome. But again, that's not worth extra points on this tier list. It's got a really good amount of courses, but that's the end of my praises in this ranking. This guy gets low C tier. At least it's above Super Mario Kart, but that's where I'm calling it. In 2002, we've got both Sonic Racing Kart and Sonic Racing Shift Up. I don't even really know if I can call these two racing games. They were both part of a mobile phone service called the Sonic Cafe. There are a ton of games that were included in this. Sonic Racing Kart is just this. Sonic going around corners. You don't race others, you literally just race the clock. I've never actually played this guy, so I can't speak on the controls, but I mean, it looks solid enough. I mean, look at it. It looks like it controls exactly how you'd think it would, like a Flash game almost. There's nothing special happening like drifting or items, you just turn around corners. The game already accelerates for you too. It's the simplest form of a kart game I've ever seen. As for Sonic Racing Shift Up, there aren't any videos of this one. It's basically lost media. You play as Sonic against Shadow, and the only thing you do is change gears. I'm sure these were fine enough as phone games, one better than the other, but when compared to everything else, F tier. But the tier list I've made doesn't include F tier, so they're getting put at bottom of D tier. Next up is Mario Kart Double Dash for the GameCube. This guy came out in 2003, and it was the first Mario Kart Little Fez Yep ever laid his eyes on. Double Dash is a great game, though it only comes with 16 tracks. It's tied with 64 for the least amount of tracks in the franchise. The tracks are good though, and for once we have a game that controls really well. New items are brought in, old ones are brought back, and the tracks, though there are few, are pretty great. But the main selling point here is the dual driver mechanic. You're able to swap between 2 people, one in the front and one on the back, which also means that for the first time in Mario Kart history, you're able to swap between 2 items and use the other one instead. This is pretty amazing, and as much as I hate this map, it does make Baby Park pretty cool and chaotic. There's also more characters than we've ever seen at this point in time. We have more these days, but back then, 20 was crazy. Granted, you're always playing as 2 at a time, but that does mean there are a ton of different character combinations. Whichever characters you pick affects your weight class and items. I also really appreciate the mechanic of dropping your items when you get hit in Double Dash, but I can see why it's hated. Because of that, I like to offer a solution that could work with the randomness of Mario Kart. A chance to drop your items when you get hit. Even just having this as a game mode in current Mario Kart would be pretty cool. You know, a new Mario Kart that's just a collection of every old Mario Kart and all of them remastered would go so hard. Or it doesn't even have to be old Mario Karts, just old Mario Kart mechanics like Double Dash. Anyway, Double Dash is a great game with a really unique mechanic that we've never seen since. I'm giving it a solid A tier. This is a banging title that deserves a remake. Next up is Mario Kart Arcade GP. As the name implies, this guy was found in arcades. It's actually pretty decent for what it is. You get the full racing setup with steering wheel, pedals, and the ability to use items. All that cool stuff. The game also comes with Pac-Man, something we don't see in main games. Sonic knew how to get it done though. This and the second game are the 2 versions of Mario Kart Arcade GP out of the main 3 that I haven't played. I can't speak on the controls in the first 2, so I'll judge everything else. I will say, from videos of gameplay, the handling looks pretty decently smooth. VR is also a completely different story, but I'll get there. And if you're wondering, I also have not played VR. Mario Kart Arcade GP is an arcade racing game featuring Mario from 2005. It didn't see much of a release outside of Japan, and neither did the second one in 2007. There are cups in the game, each with 2 maps. Once you've beaten each one, you find yourself at the last cup that also has 2 maps. Nobody ever gets that far because you'd have to play through the rest of the game, which is something nobody ever does because it's a fucking arcade game. Seriously, these last 2 maps might be the least played Mario Kart tracks ever, and the rest of the tracks aren't exactly in the running for the most played either. There's also Robo Mario as a challenge racer at the end. This character only appears in Mario Kart Arcade GP 1 and 2 as a non-playable character. I guess Nintendo never felt like they wanted to use this character. The maps aren't the worst, but they're not the best either. There's also a ton of power-ups, some of which we never see in the main games. Definitely a must-have for an arcade game to have a ton of them. Like, look at Banana Shot. Ever seen this item before? The game's alright. Again, I can't speak on the controls, but it does look smooth enough, and I've heard okay things from people who have played it. With that in mind, and looking at everything else, this guy deserves a solid B tier. Below 64 though. Next up is Sonic Kart 3DX from 2005. It's a sequel to Sonic Racing Kart and also came out for Sonic Cafe. It's another racing game that I've never played, which at this point I'm finding a lot of, but I promise I've played the games here that matter. Given my current rankings and everything I found on this, it's in no way better than Sonic Drift or Super Mario Kart, but I gotta put it just above the other 2. It gets a mid-D tier. This is really making me wish I had an F tier. Just know, these 3 games would be in a hypothetical F tier. After that, we've got Mario Kart DS. Also in 2005. This was the second Mario Kart game young Fez Yep ever laid his eyes on. Honestly, I got this game for Christmas when I was around 6 years old. I played it for maybe 6 total hours, and then it sat on my entertainment center in our living room for the next decade and a half. I was more of a Mario Kart Wii guy myself. Mario Kart DS was a pretty good game, but it's nothing spectacular. It's kind of one of the most Mario Kart games we've ever gotten from the Mario Kart franchise. Well, that and 64, Super Circuit, and Super Mario Kart. It just didn't do anything special. I mean, Double Dash clearly had its gimmick, Wii had motion controls, 8 had anti-gravity, but what did this guy do? It's 3D. Oh boy, we haven't seen this one yet. I'm being too hard on it. It is the only Mario Kart game that gave us a mission mode, which I would love to have in future Mario Kart games. Though I guess it's a bit like the missions in the open world section of Mario Kart World. The character selections aren't anything to write home about, though we did get robbed. They did give us 2 new items though, the Blooper and the Bullet Bill, which is an item you get near last place that actually actively helps you, and not just the guy in second place. I do like blue shells. They give plenty of chaos and unpredictability, but man, just in terms of game design, I can't agree with it. Though eventually they made it so blue shells can hit others in its path, so that's kinda nice. Anyway, DS had a really cool selection of karts too. Like the Tank and Streamliner looked awesome, but the track selection was a little lacking. I mean, there's a couple of pretty good ones, like Waluigi Pinball, but like, I've never been a fan of Desert Hills. Overall, a very solid entry that played it safe in my eyes. I'm putting it in high B tier above 64. I mean, it is just a better version of Mario Kart 64. Next up, we've got my favorite Sonic racing game ever, Sonic Riders. I did a whole deep dive into this game and the 2 others in its franchise a while ago. So in this video, I'll explain for those of you who don't want to go give me more views. Sonic Riders came out in 2006, and it's unique in how it does racing because it's on fucking hoverboards. Man, Sonic used to be so cool back then. It is the first game I've mentioned so far that has a story mode too. There's a big race where entry is a Chaos Emerald and Eggman is using this as a way to collect the emeralds. No clue how nobody saw this one coming. He uses the Chaos Emeralds to unlock Babylon Garden in order to access their ancient technology. But he gets disappointed, it's just a flying carpet, and he leaves. The story is a little bit dumb, but the gameplay is great. Much like weight classes in Mario Kart, there's now 3 types of characters here: speed, flying, and power. Of course, the characters have their own stats too, but which player you play as changes how you can get through the map. There are tons of ways to get through a track, but there's almost no power-ups. Instead, you can beat up your opponents yourself. You get to time your jumps and tricks, manage rings, and more. It's a real cool experience, and with how deep the mechanics go, I'm going S tier. Definitely not biased at all putting fucking Sonic Riders in S tier, but I'm telling you man, there is so much to learn and how to get good here that I'm not gonna go over it all because there's a whole separate video over here. How about you give me an extra view? You know you want to. I didn't say anything bad about the game though. The battle mode sucks, the mission mode takes way too long to complete. I wish Sega brought us a remastered version that's online too. There are a ton of boards in the game, but most of them suck. There's not enough tracks in the game, and like 2 of them suck. It is still S tier though. Anyway, moving on, we've got Sonic Rivals next. This bad boy came out in the same year as Sonic Riders, and kinda sucks. Sonic Rivals is the second Sonic racing game on foot. It's got a whole story too. Basically, there's a version of Eggman from the future who made a device that captures people into cards. He keeps doing this to all the main characters. Sonic, Knuckles, Shadow, and Silver stop him, though they have conflicts and race along the way. He just wanted to get modern-day Eggman out of his family tree so that their family would have a better reputation. Does this imply Eggman eventually has children? This story is even worse than Sonic Riders. The gameplay isn't too bad. It works better as a mobile game if you ask me. Hey, look at that. The racing is between 2 characters. There's power-ups along the way, obstacles, that sort of thing. It gets pretty repetitive though. Oh, and you collect character cards. Plus Metal Sonic is in the game. This game is just kinda mediocre. It gets really repetitive, more so than other games on this list. Well, the other ones that are actual games anyway. I'll put this guy in low B tier. I consider it high C tier, but it is a lot better than Sonic R. That's worth something here. Next up is Mario Kart Arcade GP2, which released in 2007. This guy is made on the same engine as the first one, so there's a lot of the same. There's a fuck ton of items again, just shy of 100. There are a couple new characters here, like Mamechi. Actually, that's it, he's the only new one. Each character has 2 carts too. Also, it's the same as the first arcade game. There's a cup at the end you get by beating all the others. I did try downloading a ROM of this game so I could say I've played it, but none of them would work on my computer. So instead, I read what other people have said about it. The consensus is, if you played the first one, you've played this one. So I'm gonna rank this guy in B tier right above the first one, because this one does have better graphics, an extra character, and more carts. Now on to Rivals 2. I haven't played either of these games in so long. There's a story mode here too. Eggman is trying to release the Ifrit. Knuckles and Rouge investigate, Sonic and Tails investigate missing Chow, Silver comes back to the future to figure out why his future was destroyed by Ifrit. Apparently, Silver's future gets fucked over and over, and it's always due to something happening in present day. In the 200 years between Sonic and Silver, it's always something in Sonic's day. Maybe this guy should get killed. I don't know. Anyway, Silver teams up with SBO, Shadow and Metal Sonic team up too, which is a weird combo. We find out Eggman Nega, the Eggman from the future, is doing shit again. The guys beat Ifrit, trap Eggman Nega in his dimension, and all is right as rain. So, I haven't played this game in many years. I watched some videos to refresh myself, and I have to say, this game is much better than Sonic Rivals 1. Though I actually think the story of Rivals 1 is a bit more creative, this game has voice acting, a bigger cast, and more items and obstacles. I think the level design is pretty much equal, and besides that, the 2 games are practically identical. I'm putting this guy right above Rivals 1 in B tier, and right below the arcade games. Our next one is Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, also mentioned in this video. After Sonic Riders, little kid me really wanted to love this game. Hell, I own 2 copies of it, but it just isn't the same. You don't have to time your jumps anymore, there's barely any air management anymore. Now you manage gravity or whatever. You can't attack enemies outside of power-ups, you can't boost outside of gravity boosting, which can only be done in certain areas of the map. Your tricks mean nothing, the system for grinding is stupid, the system for switching gears is stupid. Introducing zero gravity as mechanic into a racing game on hoverboards is one of the coolest fucking ideas I've ever heard of. And Sega shit the bed so unbelievably bad here. Is it a bad game? Honestly, kind of. The story isn't great either. Neither was the first one, but it was excusable. Here there's these rocks that are bracelets that fall from space and they can control gravity. Long story short, a rogue robot steals the arcs, creates a black hole, and the robot turns into a massive robot god. Our guys beat the robot, destroyed the black hole, and Eggman existed in the story for about 4 seconds. He seriously wasn't even in this game. The soundtrack here is fucking awesome. I'll die on this hill. But besides that, fuck this game. It gets C tier, in between Sonic R and Sonic Drift 2. It's better than Sonic Drift 2, no doubt. But honestly, I think I would much rather play Sonic R. You may be noticing a pattern. A higher percentage of the better games are Mario. Speaking of Mario, we've got Mario Kart Wii. This game is fucking awesome. I probably have hundreds of hours on Mario Kart Wii. Hell, motion controls are the only way I know how to play Mario Kart. Hopefully in the next one, we'll still have motion controls as an option. Please, Nintendo, I need this. The game was amazing. Tons of of unlockables. I once tried to buy Mario Galaxy purely to unlock Rosalina, and I knew damn well I wouldn't play as her. I'm a Koopa Troopa main through and through. I never did buy Mario Galaxy back then. I do have it on Switch these days though. Also, little kid me didn't know this, but you can get Rosalina without it. Anyway, if you couldn't guess, Mario Kart Wii's big claim to fame was the steering wheel and motion controls. Everyone could play Mario Kart Wii. It was awesome. The bikes were super cool, the amount of carts was cool, and the tracks are amazing. Wario's Gold Mine was awesome with the amount of shortcuts you can take. Moo Moo Meadows is a staple I still love to play today, and I adored Mushroom Gorge and Maple Treeway growing up. The game also introduced the POW block and the Mega Mushroom to Mario Kart. Double Dash isn't too far off and is way more fun with family and friends, but Mario Kart Wii is way more fun to play by yourself or online. These were things I was into as a kid. This is a huge staple, and it's what I think of when someone mentions Mario Kart. I'm putting this guy in S tier. I just want to note in the editing of making this video that this guy probably shouldn't have been in S tier. You'll see later on that Mario Kart 8 also has motion controls, and I didn't put it in S tier. And Mario Kart 8 is probably objectively better than Mario Kart Wii, although the tracks in Mario Kart Wii are pretty great. That being said, I've already written this video. I'm keeping Mario Kart Wii up in S tier, but it's probably a little blinded by nostalgia, so just keep that in mind. Next, we've got Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. This game is beloved by fans, and can you blame them? It still looks great today. I really do like racing CrossWorlds, but this game does feel a lot more fluid. The handling is great. It's on par with Mario Kart. Drifting feels amazing in this game. It's the best we've had in any Sonic racing game, if you ask me. Well, this one and the sequel. The tracks are, well, they're kind of mediocre. It's not a huge selling point for the game by any means. The theming of the tracks isn't the issue. It's the level design. Not bad, but just kind of mediocre. There's too few shortcuts and the stage hazards are boring. There's also no extra carts, which is a shame after having too much in both Sonic Riders games. The game had its priorities straight with getting the handling down, but it didn't take it all the way. Also, the items have always kind of been shitty in Sonic racing games, and this one might be the worst of the more modern Sonic racers. Oh, and there's also special abilities called All-Star moves. Like Sonic turns into Super Sonic, Eggman gets tons of missiles, that sort of thing. It's a great start to a series of Sonic racing games. I just wish they put out as many as Mario. I'm slapping this guy into A tier. A low A tier though. I'm not that big of a fan here. Next up, we've got Sonic Free Riders, also mentioned in this video. Sonic Free Riders is one of the worst Sonic racing games I've ever played. It's bad. Like, it doesn't work half the time kind of thing. And when it does work, it's boring as piss. The level design isn't great, and that's just because it isn't designed to be great since you're using the Kinect. Also, yeah, there's that. You're getting all sweaty up there, jumping and kicking and shit, and then the game fucks you over by not working. So you get tired and then frustrated by the game not working. What were we doing over here, man? The story is bad too. The cutscenes went from actual cutscenes earlier in the franchise to still images here. I mean, these are on par with Sonic Rivals 1. Even just navigating the menu kinda sucks. I mean, it really just boils down to the Kinect sucking. Most of the time when you make a jump, the game doesn't register it. When you stick your hand out, the game doesn't register it. The game does register kicking pretty well, but at this point, who cares? I go over this game way more in this video, but just steer clear of this game. There is a mod for this that makes it controller friendly, but the game is just too slow and too small. F tier if I could. D tier for now. It's better than these Sonic Cafe games, but at least you can do those sitting down. Mario Kart 7 is next. This was a fantastic game. It's the first Mario Kart that lets you customize your vehicle. That being just changing your vehicle and wheels for different stats. Whatever you want. The game reduces the amount of racers, we don't have bikes, but the additions in this game are awesome. I've always loved Toad Circuit. Neo Bowser City is one of the best tracks in Mario Kart history if you ask my friend Alex, and they brought back some of the best maps from DS and Wii. I didn't play 7 nearly as much as Wii, but it's a real good time. You can even race in first person, but who the fuck wants this? The game is good, but as far as my tier list goes, it isn't too high. Just like Mario Kart DS, this is one of the most Mario Karts we've ever had. Every single feature in this game, from vehicle customization to being in the air and water, is done better in Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe. It's just a worse version with less characters. Also, some of the characters here are fucking weird. I'm putting this in B tier above DS. It is better than DS, I think, and it's definitely nicer to look at. Cars control about the same, but I love the addition of the parachute and underwater sections. Okay, I promise we're almost done here. Next up is Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed. A fucking mouthful right there. This game is the first one, but better. Everything that I said about the first game is true here, but now there's more playable characters characters, including the fucking Heavy, Spy, and Pyro. Why the hell aren't these guys in Sonic racing games now? There are a ton of characters from other franchises here. It's pretty awesome. The tracks are a bit better than the first one, but they're also still kind of boring. A lot of it is just straight lines before a slight turn, rinse and repeat. The items still suck, still no vehicle customization, although the cars are all pretty cool. This game's selling point is having transformations, obviously. Cars now turn into planes and boats depending on where you are on the track. Also, there's a bit more variety in these maps now too. Did you know the first one has 4 tracks from Sonic Heroes? Did you also know that 3 of those tracks are just Seaside Hill? The second game has less Sonic tracks, but that does mean we only get 1 Seaside Hill map. That's all we need, man. Who the hell needs 3 Seaside Hill maps? Also, and I forgot to mention it, for the first game, the characters are so expressive. Unlike Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, or really most other Sonic racing games, Sonic here will jump out of his car, emote, and get back in. I'm putting this game in A tier, above the first one, but still below Double Dash. It's a decent enough sequel, but there's so much more they could have added or improved upon. I'm sorry to say it too, I am well aware how beloved this game is. It just doesn't do enough. Double Dash really is the gatekeeper of S tier, like this guy. Mario Kart Arcade GP DX is up next. Finally, the only Mario Kart arcade game I've played. The game is pretty great. I wish Nintendo dropped this guy on Switch with their subscription service. I can't speak on the controls and handling of the first 2 games, but this guy handles like a dream. There's also no more Rainbow Cup to unlock after beating everything, which also means no more Robo Mario. They've got to bring my man back. The roster of characters isn't bad. There's way more karts now than there used to be, but also the game has the most items out of any Mario Kart game ever. It sits at 100 items, but you go into each race only being able to select 3 items. Every item box you pick will only have these 3 items. Makes for a bit more of a competitive scene. I can't wait to have a big basement someday where I put my whole Sonic and Mario collections. Well, mostly my Sonic collection. And from there, build a machine running emulated Mario Kart Arcade GP DX. It sounds like a fucking blast. Anyway, this is the best version of the arcade games. The tracks are so much better than the other ones, though they are still a bit simple by Mario Kart standards. It's better than All-Stars Racing though. I was back and forth on where I should put this, but I do think I'm gonna put this guy in A tier. It's a seriously fun arcade game, and the pedals with steering wheels are pretty cool too. If only it was easier for most people to get their hands on this. Next up, we've got Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe. I'm gonna throw these in together. 8 was for the Wii U, and 8 Deluxe was for the Switch. Mario Kart 8 was a great game. I've got it sitting with my Wii U right now, the Wii U that I never play. It brought more vehicle customization, anti-gravity is the gimmick, the tracks are awesome, and the items were great. It really did become the best way to play Mario Kart. Mario Kart 8 had it all, unless you wanted the Double Dash experience, of course. I was able to bring my proficiency in motion controls from the Wii. I was fucking saved. But you know what Mario Kart 8 doesn't have? Online servers, 96 courses, holding 2 items at the same time, exclusive battle mode maps, smart steering and auto acceleration, and more. You can find all of that in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe takes quite literally everything that Mario Kart 8 has and basically doubles it. You can now hold 2 items, which is fucking crucial. There's also more items here too. I mean, the more items is just Boo and a feather, but still. This is the definitive way to play Mario Kart. The controls, the tracks, oh holy shit man, the tracks. There are 96 tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mentioned earlier there should be a Mario Kart collection game. This is the closest thing we've gotten. That's not to say every track is a winner or anything. Like, there's Mario Kart Tour maps here. Come on, guys. We couldn't just add arcade maps. Needless to say, this guy gets S tier. I'm sorry, but I have to slide it in above Sonic Riders, as much as it pains me to say. Mario Kart 8 gets in right below Double Dash. Still respectable. This next one is a bit of a gimmick. Mario Kart 8 Arcade GP VR. You heard it here first. VR Mario Kart. I've never played this, and I doubt many of you have, but it looks really cool. No fucking way they haven't put this on some kind of VR headset yet. Way. They have not put it on any VR headset yet. I have heard nothing about how good it controls, but from what I read on the wiki, it sounds like it controls very similarly to the last arcade version. I have to imagine it's different though. You're literally looking from the perspective of Mario. Getting your ass blasted by a blue shell has got to be crazy in VR too. Just for the shits and giggles, this guy gets high B tier. I would put it next to the other 2 arcade games in B tier, but come on man, it's in VR. Next up is Sonic Forces Speed Battle. This is a mobile game for phones. It's similar to Sonic Dash, but that one's not a racing game since you just run until you can't. With this one, you actively race against 3 other people. It was released to promote Sonic Forces, which of course sucks. You run, fuck with your opponents, dodge obstacles, try to make the most of stuff like dash panels and try to win. It's actually pretty fun. That's what Sonic Rivals was trying so desperately to be. There's not a lot I can say here. The gameplay isn't super deep, but it is fast-paced, with obstacles constantly getting in the way. It gets pretty messy. There's also a ton of playable characters and costumes. I mean a ton. I'm sliding this guy into mid-B tier. It's a fun game, I recommend it, but it doesn't quite hit above this. Holy shit, are we almost done? We have 6 more? That's fucking crazy. I feel like we've been talking forever. Well, while we're here, how about we take a moment to talk about today's sponsor? You guys. You guys have been absolutely wonderful in the comments, giving ideas, voting on the next videos, and just being a joy to talk to. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Now, let's go ahead and give me a pat on the back by subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I promise you won't regret it. Alright, moving on, we've got Team Sonic Racing, a real stinker. This game had so much potential. It's clear they put a lot into it. It's a very polished game. The game feels great to play. The tracks are finally good too. The drifting still feels great, character models are awesome, graphics are wonderful, plus a team mechanic in a racing game sounds super interesting, and it's something not a lot of kart racers have done before. Or, like, really ever outside of battle modes. Yet it was ruined here. The main issue this game had was the fact that you couldn't matchmake with your friends in a team-based game. I think that's a lot of the reason the game failed, but my list has games that don't have online services anymore, so I'm not going to consider this. However, the team-based gameplay isn't great anyway. Most notably, if you get first consistently, but your teammates do a piss-poor job, you still lose the race. Everything is based on the team's performance, including your special abilities. There are ways to abuse this, of course. The story is also awful. Just everyone not trusting this guy Dampa and then being surprised when it turns out he's evil. Also, they went with still images again like in Free Riders. That fucking sucks. One thing that this game did a great job with, and is actually why I was excited for it, was the car customization. I know before you've had the option to change vehicle, or in Mario Kart's case, change wheels and parachutes. But here, you can change damn near everything. Mix and match wheels, colors, front and back of car, decals, all that shit. It's really cool getting different vehicle customizations, and it was an awesome thing to introduce. Unfortunately for Team Sonic Racing, another game does it much better. It is a shame what this game is, so I'm gonna give it C tier. It is the highest in C tier though. I considered putting it above Sonic Rivals, but nah, honestly, I'd rather play Rivals than get told I lost when I got first place. Next up is Sonic Racing, which came out in the same year. It's a mobile game. This game has been around and kicking long enough to promote 2 other Sonic racing games, being Team Sonic Racing and CrossWorlds. It is a bare bones racer you control with your fingers. This is me during the editing process. There is a team mechanic, just like Team Sonic Racing, that I forgot to mention in the video. Almost all the items you get in the game are wisps, which I do not respect. I do respect that extreme gear make it back into this game. It's not very deep, and it's made to be easy to pick up. C tier. It is better than Sonic R though. Mario Kart Tour, which came out about the same time as Sonic Racing, was Mario's racing game for mobile phones, which sounds very exciting for me with a backbone controller, until I found out you can't use controllers with it. A bunch of the tracks went to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at some point, and I always appreciate new tracks, but like, we picked these ones? It's incredibly bare bones. It controls fine enough, but you accelerate and boost automatically. You can still steer and drift. It's got a good selection of items, all the important ones, plus a pill. Bad part about this game is that it was very microtransaction heavy. You just gotta go buy all the costumes. It's the only way to be cool. Don't mind me talking shit about cosmetics when I'm walking around with all this in TF2. Also, I know I've alluded to it, but the maps here suck. They're too short and not interesting enough. They're worse than All-Stars Racing by far. This guy gets C tier, and bottom of it too. It's just too simple. I see what they were going for here, but dear lord. Mario Kart Home Tour. This guy is really cool. I've never used it, but it effectively is just toys that you control through your Switch and can use items and stuff. The items and enemy racers are all in-game. Unless you're playing Luigi, he gets a separate toy. You set up the course in your living room or wherever else you're playing, and you play through it with these real cars. It is a cool idea, but also, why the fuck does this exist? Like, who asked for this? RC cars are cool, Mario Kart is cool, I get why this should be cool, but if you're using the Switch screen anyway, you might as well just play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and save yourself the trouble of setup and cleanup. I don't know, man. Like, it is cool, but it just seems like more trouble than it's worth. Drifting doesn't seem hard, and the items seem to travel in a predictable way. Plus, you don't get in-the-air environments like you would in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because it's, you know, a physical toy. Besides that, it looks like it controls well enough. For the spectacle and the fact that it looks like it plays well, I'm slapping it into B tier above Rivals 1 and 2. Finally, we're at the last 2. Mario Kart World is up next. This is the most recent entry into the Mario Kart franchise, and it's pretty awesome. Remember Remember how so many main Mario Kart games have a gimmick? Double Dash with its, well, you know, Double Dash. Mario Kart Wii with motion controls. 8 with anti-gravity. This game takes things to a new level with the whole world aspect. It has an open world for you to explore. That's a really cool idea in the drawing room. Now, how does it hold up? Well, surprisingly well, I think. The open world is in desperate need of more to do though, but it is very cool. As for the gameplay, it isn't far off from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It does introduce grinding, which, not to brag, Sonic did this one ages ago, but in an actual kart racing game, it's pretty cool. Grinding just gives a lot of new ways to traverse a track. The tracks themselves are just as good as 8 Deluxe. Issue is, you have to travel to the next damn track. Yeah, in between races, you actually have to drive to the next course, instead of just teleporting there. And that's not the worst idea ever, but man, it kinda sucks doing. I just want to start the next race, man. It would be cool if this was a setting you can turn off, but it's not. The game is very polished, very clean, very well made. The actual racing is as good as ever, but I'd rather just go play 8 Deluxe. Also, you can't swap out wheels anymore. They replaced that with stickers. Meanwhile, we've had this level of customization in Team Sonic Racing for years at this point. A tier, right below Double Dash. It's a shame because of how well made it is, but the gimmick of Double Dash is so good. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is the last one here. I was very excited for this game to come out, but pretty skeptical after Team Sonic Racing. It's awesome. CrossWorlds as a gimmick is super cool. One of the best they've had in the series. Transformations work again. The character roster is awesome with more and more characters still coming out. The amount of vehicles is insane, with Extreme Gear making a huge comeback. I do wish Extreme Gear had better animations. The characters on top of them just seem kinda stiff. The game controls really well, though I do kinda wish the game looked like it moved faster. The items are the best the Sonic series has seen so far. Vehicle customization is even better than Team Sonic Racing too. It's also got the polish of Mario Kart World. This game is fucking awesome. I only really have 2 criticisms with making the game look a little more dynamic, and with the characters on Extreme Gear not looking fluid enough. Besides that, awesome game. I love going online, and the frequent festivals are cool too. S tier, albeit low S tier. It's almost on par with Mario Kart Wii, but just a bit higher. I just wish there was motion controls, man. And that's the tier list. Man, this script took a while to make. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with the choices. There better be some disagreements, man. There are a lot of choices here. Anyway, make sure to vote on the next video. Poll's gonna be out later today. I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. See you later.